Do you like fettuccine Alfredo, but you don't like the calories that go with it? Stick around for today's recipe. Hi, I'm Jeremy, and today I'm excited to share with you a recipe that our family has grown to love. It is called fettuccine Alfredo sauce, and it is just a simple, no-frills recipe that has 1/10 the calories of the sauce you'll normally get when you have fettuccine. Now, this is a cauliflower-based recipe, and don't fear, your kids will never know the difference. You don't taste cauliflower, you don't taste the healthy aspect, so to speak. You just taste the fettuccine Alfredo sauce. So stick around, let's go to the kitchen, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Hi, and welcome back to the kitchen. Today I want to share with you an amazing recipe that I would encourage you just to try on your family without telling them what you've done, because most likely they won't be able to tell the difference. It's a healthy version of Alfredo sauce. Now, if you like fettuccine Alfredo, but you don't like all the calories that go with it, this is an amazing recipe, because instead of 500 calories, you're talking about 50 calories for the serving. So great recipe, one I hope you'll give a try. It takes a little bit of time, but not much, and it's so much healthier. So what we're going to do to begin with is we're going to start out with garlic. Now, garlic itself, let me turn my stove on, my top on here. It calls for 2 tablespoons of butter, but because I just find that to be a little too much, I'm only going to use about a teaspoon, 1 tablespoon. And you can always just use water instead, but okay, so I'm putting 1 tablespoon of butter in this, and I'm not using real butter, I'm using Smart Balance. It's just a little healthier alternative that's also vegan. You can, like I say, just use water and avoid butter altogether, but I just want to make sure that we stick a little bit with the recipe. So instead of a clove of garlic, we've already got this pureed, or minced, I should say. So I'm turning my skillet down just a little bit, and I'm going to put 8 teaspoons of garlic. And a teaspoon is equal to about a medium-sized clove of garlic. So I'm going to put 8 teaspoons, and I might do heaping teaspoons because we like garlic, and because it's so good for you, and why not? So there's 4. Let me get some more here. And what we do is we just buy this garlic that's already fresh peeled. We mince it with a blender or a food processor, and then we just freeze the stuff. And that way it's there, it's ready for you when you need it. And like I say, garlic is amazing. It's supposed to be good for your cholesterol. It's good for your immune system. And it's got so many other beneficial properties. So highly encourage you to use your garlic. And I'm just going to stir this. Now, we don't want to brown it. We just want to stir it lightly, because brown garlic is bitter garlic. If you burn it, it will be nasty. So just turning it on low heat. You want to simmer it lightly for about, well, just till you've got the sting or the bite out of it, because we're trying to, you know how garlic is kind of hot if you don't saute it a little bit, and we want to just be careful we don't burn it. Otherwise, your whole recipe will taste bitter and just kind of nasty. So just lightly sauteing that garlic, and then with all those healthy properties, and again, I've put probably more than the 8 teaspoons or 8 cloves. I would say I've got the equivalent of maybe 8 large cloves here, because again, garlic's good for us. It's anti-inflammatory. I mean, this stuff will help you live a long time, right? So, okay. Then we're going to take cauliflower. Now, I've already rinsed this off, and just going to, here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to cut it into 3/4, and you want about 6 cups worth of cauliflower. Now I've got a container here that measures cups, and frankly I'm just going to use the whole head of cauliflower. Unless you've got some amazingly big head of cauliflower, you're probably going to be about right with just one medium to maybe a slightly large cauliflower should serve you well, okay? But the recipe officially calls for 5 to 6 cups. So I'm just going to break that up a little bit, put that in there, and we'll show you what to do with that in just a moment here. Stir this again, make sure it's got it turned down so much it's not doing anything here for us. Okay. So again, just making sure that the hot bite is taken out of that garlic so it will taste good for our Alfredo sauce. Now, when I make this Alfredo sauce, as you'll see at the end here, I've steamed up some broccoli to go with it, because that way I'm getting twice the nutrients, as far as I'm getting not just my cruciferous vegetable with cauliflower, but I'm also having a cruciferous vegetable with my broccoli. And so that way I'm healthy, and also the sauce gives the broccoli you know, it helps it go down a little easier if you're not a fan of broccoli. And so and what's amazing is people probably won't even realize that they're washing that cauliflower down, that broccoli down with cauliflower. I'll put this on a hot pan, and then I've already started to warm some water here that has got some water here, and this is what I'm going to boil my cauliflower in. And you want your cauliflower, again, to be 5 to 6 cups, just a medium-sized head of cauliflower. And yeah, like I said, though, you put some broccoli with this, and you put the sauce on it with the fettuccine, and you will find that people will say, well, now that's a little easier way to eat my broccoli, and yet little do they realize that they're washing it down with cauliflower and garlic. So, talk about an amazing recipe. Now, I'm taking just vegetable broth, okay? There's no meat in this or anything, no chicken or anything, just some vegetable broth. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 1 cup of vegetable broth and go ahead and put in my Vitamix, because that will help serve as a base for my Alfredo sauce. And the rest of this I'm just going to simply add to my pot for which I boil my cauliflower in. And by doing this, my cauliflower is going to absorb some of that flavor and salt and so forth that's in the vegetable broth. Okay, so I've just added that to the pot, and that should start boiling here in a minute. And I've already cut up my cauliflower, and we actually have a little over 6 cups of cauliflower, but I don't have a problem with that. So I'm just going to go ahead and stick this in, and we're going to let that simmer or boil for about 7 minutes, 7 to 10 minutes, until it's basically soft, okay? So I've got that down in there, and in just a few minutes I'll be back after this is boiled, and we'll make our sauce. Okay, so I've just picked up just a little, and now while this is working on boiling, we will proceed with getting our ingredients ready for the rest of the sauce, okay? Again, as you can see, the main thing you got to take time for is for your cauliflower to boil, and for your sauteing of your garlic. It really doesn't take that long, especially if you're using 2 burners. I'm just trying to show you everything here with my 1 burner. Now, I've got 1 cup of broth, vegetable broth, in here. The rest of my container of broth was put into this bowl so that it can boil. The cauliflower can boil in that. Now I'm going to put a teaspoon of salt. Now, the original recipe called for a teaspoon of salt. However, I'm going to put 2 teaspoons of salt because I believe that it's just not quite salty enough when you use the 1 teaspoon. So I've got here what is essentially 2 teaspoons of salt. And you still may want to add more. I think that this recipe is really good with when you're serving it, just to sprinkle some garlic salt on top. And that gives it a little bit extra salt. Now, I'm not a salt person. I don't really consider myself a big salt person. However, in this recipe, I just find that it needs a little extra salt. So I'm recommending that you put 2 teaspoons of salt and that you garnish it with some garlic salt when you serve it. Okay, now I'm putting some black pepper in it, but we don't use black pepper in our home. We try to stay away from that. So I use what is called the Vegetarian Express pepper-like seasoning. And this gives you that black pepper flavor without the negative side effects that come with black pepper. So it's better on your stomach and just better on your overall health. So I put that in there. Now I'm going to put just a little bit of olive oil. The recipe calls for 1 tablespoon of olive oil. And you could try to, I would say for the amount of oil that this recipe calls for, I mean, think about it, the whole recipe, 1 tablespoon of olive oil. We did use a little butter just to saute our garlic, but I would say this is a pretty healthy recipe with regards to oil. Okay, now we're going to take a 1/2 cup of milk and add to our ingredients here. And this is some type of milk. I'm not sure what this one is. It looks like it might be a nut milk. I just grabbed what was in the refrigerator. And there we go, a 1/2 cup of milk. I'm just going to add a little bit more there, okay? And then I'm just going to add my garlic. And I've already sauteed this. So I'm putting my garlic, and again, I put a little extra garlic. So just adding this because we like garlic. It's good for us. We know it. And why not eat a lot of what's good for you, right? And again, it normally calls for just 8 cloves of garlic. I've probably got a little bit more than that. Okay. Now, that's the garlic. So right now, I've got everything in this that I'm going to use for this recipe except for my cauliflower. We're going to let that finish boiling, and I'll be right back. Okay, so this has been boiling for a while. We'll, again, you only need it to boil about 7 to 10 minutes, but main thing is make sure it's not crispy. You know, you want to take away that hard, tough texture. Okay, so now we've got a spoon here. We're going to take this cauliflower and just put it into our pitcher. Now, you know, I just need to reiterate, cauliflower is an amazing vegetable for your health. It's one of the cruciferous vegetables, if you will. And again, with the broccoli, you're having an amazing diet that's good for being anti-carcinogenic, meaning it should help with fighting cancer or preventing cancer, what have you. It's just a way to try to help the body stay where it needs to health-wise. It's also got a lot of vitamin C in it. So between this and your broccoli, you're getting an amazing dose of vitamin C. You'll also be having some protein. You've got everything right here, packaged from the Creator's hand. So we're going to now turn this on and let it make our sauce. Okay, so I blended a little bit more. As you can see, I made a little mess because I turned it on when it was on high, and it's hot. Can you see the steam coming out? So be really careful, Because remember, when you blend something that's already hot, you're talking about a hot soup basically. And that cauliflower was already hot. But look, I want to show you this. Look at that. Just a beautiful Alfredo sauce that your family can feel good about. You can have all you want. Something else I need to remind you is that cauliflower is also good for the stomach. So whereas if you went to the Olive Garden and had a fettuccine Alfredo dish, you would leave the table feeling full, perhaps bloated, and you may even have a little issue with your gut as a result. It depends on your sensitivity to dairy and what have you. But what's nice about this is not only is it not bad for your stomach, but it's actually good for your stomach. So it's good if you've got gastrointestinal issues. Cauliflower is actually beneficial for that. It's also good for your kidneys. If you have kidney stones or so forth, fettuccine, or how do I say it? Cauliflower is beneficial for helping your kidneys, your stomach, cardiovascular. It's all here, folks, in this Alfredo sauce. Now let me get some broccoli. Now, something on broccoli, I let this, it's not bad, but I let it steam just a little longer than I should have. So it's not as bright green as I normally like it. And let me just say, here in the South, I consider myself a Southerner. Grew up in Asheville, North Carolina, or at least in the area there in a little town called Candler. And so I consider myself a Southern boy. I say y'all, but something I have to say, here in the South, we often cook our vegetables way too much. We turn them so they look dark green or brown or almost blackish at times. And you kill so much of the nutrients when you do that. Now, I've just, again, I would have liked this to be a little brighter green, like that bright green. But I wasn't paying attention, got a little darker than I like. But let your broccoli just lightly steam it. And a great time to do it is when you're, if you boil your pasta in a pot, just put a steaming basket on top, put some broccoli in there, and let that steam so that when you are done with your pasta, you've also got that steamed broccoli ready to garnish your Alfredo dish with. And also, you may want to make your noodles from scratch. Sometimes I make pasta from scratch, but right now I'm just using a box of noodles. But what's nice is if you take some pasta, make some homemade pasta, instead of using water, you use a vegetable juice that you make. Maybe, juice some carrots or juice some beets or even some spinach. That'll give you some colorful pasta, and it would go nice with this white sauce and really make it look like, hey, you've done something good. So again, I'm going to just try this. This is cauliflower. Again, I'm thinking of one of our members at the church where I pastor. They, I don't know if they ever told their family what they were doing, and family never knew any difference. They just ate the Alfredo, and they, appreciated it, and little did they know that they were having a healthy dose of cauliflower. Now, let me see what I can do here. Now that's good. I hope you'll try it. Let us know what your family thinks. We'd be curious to hear your feedback, and hope you enjoy the cauliflower. Well, there you have it, another simple recipe. I hope you'll try this, and remember, don't be overwhelmed. You just put your noodles on at the same time that you put your cauliflower on. Let them both boil. It'll take about the same amount of time. And then while that's happening, you can add the rest of the ingredients into your Vitamix. Also saute quickly that garlic. Again, it doesn't take that long to saute. You don't want it to be bitter, so you don't have to saute it very much. Then don't forget, put some vegetable like broccoli, or you might use spinach or what have you. Put that in the steaming basket so it'll be nice and bright green when it's time to serve. And in about 15 minutes, really, you've got a full meal of fettuccine Alfredo with your broccoli, your cauliflower, and you can feel good about what you fed your family. So again, leave your comments and your thoughts in the feedback, and also please give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed today's presentation. Consider subscribing and hit that bell if you'd like to be notified of future updates. And yeah, join us next time as together we explore greener pastures.